The streets of Onitsha woke before the sun. Hawkers called out their wares, bus conductors shouted destinations, and the first horns of impatient drivers pierced the air like restless birds. Among them moved a boy with a worn-out tree balanced carefully on his head. His name was Obinna. At 16, he had already learned that life was a race with no shoes. His dream was not small. He wanted to finish secondary school, sit for his exams, and one day study engineering at the university. But dreams were expensive, and Obinna's parents had no money to spare. His mother traded tomatoes and peppers in the market, her earnings barely enough to feed the family. His father hauled and sold sack bags on the roadside near the main market, returning home each day with tired eyes and empty pockets. So, Obinna worked. Pure water. Cold pure water. His voice rang through the traffic as he weaved between cars, sweat shining on his forehead. Some drivers waved him away. Others mocked him. "Boy, go back to school instead of chasing coins in this heat." But they did not know that school was the very thing he was chasing. Every naira he tucked into his pocket was not just money, it was hope. Hope for exam registration fees. Hope for a future beyond the noise of the market and the blistering sun. He often whispered to himself, "One day, this traffic will not see me hawking water. One day, I will drive through here as an engineer." What set Obinna apart, however, was not just his grit but his honesty. Teachers often said, if you give Obinna 100 naira, he will return every kobo and tell you how it was spent. His friends teased him for being too serious, but everyone respected him. Trust was the one treasure he owned in abundance. What Obinna did not know was that miles away, across the Atlantic Ocean, his story had begun to stir another heart. In the United States lived a teacher, a Nigerian woman who had left home years ago. She was a single mother of 4 children, her days heavy with work and responsibility. Life was not easy, yet one evening during prayer, she felt a nudge she could not ignore: help a child in Nigeria go to school. Unsure who, she called her sister in Onitsha, who also happened to be a teacher. "Is there a student you know who truly needs help with school fees?" she asked. Her sister's answer was immediate. "Yes. His name is Obinna. He sells pure water on the streets, trying to pay his way through school. He is hardworking and trustworthy." That was all the donor needed to hear. She sent what she could, even though it meant sacrificing from her own limited earnings. The next morning, Obinna was summoned to the teacher's office. His heart pounded as he entered, clutching his battered notebook, unsure what wrong he might have done. The teacher smiled gently. "Obinna, sit down." "Yes, Ma," he answered, lowering himself onto the chair. She handed him a folded receipt. "All your school and exam fees have been paid." Obinna froze, staring at the paper in his hand. "Paid? By who?" The teacher shook her head. "By someone overseas. They wish to remain anonymous." The boy's vision blurred with tears. He whispered, almost to himself, "God has remembered me." That night, for the first time in weeks, he studied under the dim lantern light without the weight of fear pressing on his chest. He prayed softly for the unknown giver whose face he might never see. But the story did not end there. The donor continued to help, supporting Obinna through university. Years later, when he graduated as an engineer, Obinna stood before his community, not as a boy selling water, but as a man who had built a foundation to help other children chase their own dreams. He never forgot the beginning. He never forgot that once, across the ocean, a single mother of 4 chose obedience over comfort and gave him a future. Some would call it coincidence. Others might call it luck. But Obinna, standing tall with gratitude in his heart, called it a miracle.